So I'm thinking and worrying, I suppose, about nuclear weapons and their possible use and the consequences. So, as far as I know, is Britain, America, Russia, China, and France, I believe, are the nations that have nuclear weapons. There may be others, but what I'm thinking is that it seems to be inevitable that nuclear power, nuclear missiles will spread. There will be more countries who will acquire that technology to launch nuclear weapons. So that seems to be only a matter of time before that happens. And I'm wondering, quite basically, if the Earth will survive. And that seems quite radical, I know, but what it is that a nuclear war, a nuclear strike, if any nation launches a nuclear missile, and there are counterattacks and all that, and there's global nuclear war, let's say, that will be the end of everything. I think everyone on Earth will die. Every human will be finished. It won't be like a normal war where there'll be many casualties and then we'll move on. I think it will be the end of everything if we ever start launching nuclear missiles. So I've looked into it a little bit and I can't remember details, but I do know that nuclear missiles, if they're launched in great quantity, will destroy everything. We simply can't survive. So it makes me wonder what we're doing in the world as it stands now. So we have five or so nuclear countries, nuclear armed countries. And so it seems that the nuclear missiles are not there to be used, they're only a deterrent from any attack. But it seems to me that because the use of nuclear missiles will cause the end of life on Earth, it seems that if a nation does choose to use nuclear weapons, that would be the end of everything. And I'm wondering on any possibility of a nation using nuclear weapons. It does seem that nuclear weapons are there as a deterrent and never intended to be used. But each country has to put in place the methodology to launch a missile if necessary. So I'm wondering what we're doing with nuclear weapons basically. If we have a situation where the use of nuclear weapons will lead to the end of all life on Earth, I'm wondering what we're doing with nuclear weapons. I mean, it seems that they can only serve as a deterrent. In other words, it's saying, don't attack us because it will be the end of the world. And it seems to me that there's no way of avoiding the end of the world if any nation starts using nuclear weapons. So I'm wondering, what if a nation does decide to use nuclear weapons? What if some leader of a nation with nuclear weapons becomes insane and launches a weapon? And that's the end of everything. So I'm wondering how we ensure, basically, that we never fire a nuclear weapon. How do we ensure that it remains a deterrent and is never used? Now, of course, nuclear weapons have been used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but Japan didn't have nuclear weapons of its own. There was a limited use. But if anything happens like that now, I don't see how it would be limited in the same way. I'm really struggling to understand what nuclear weapons are doing and what protection are they providing, because it seems that it's preventing an attack by other nations, but any counterattack would lead to the end of life on Earth. In other words, I'm thinking nuclear weapons can't be used because it will kill everybody. It won't be limited in any way. So I'm thinking, I'm struggling to understand how nuclear weapons fit into our reality. Because it seems that to use it would be like a Pyrrhic victory, which I think means that it would be suicide to use nuclear weapons. So I'm struggling to understand what role nuclear weapons serve in our lives.